Hello everybody, it's Eric Freeze, and today, um, I'm feeling very sleepy, but I'm going to show you some literature sent in from the Aaron Freeze, or Aaron Freeze, as he goes by on the YouTubes. Um, and this is sent in over the course of several weeks. Different things were sent in different parts. I think this is a total of 3, I believe. It's either 3 or 2. I'm not sure if these 3 were sent in together. I believe, no, there was 2. This, I think, was sent in by itself, but then the other 2 were sent in at a different date. Anyway, I'm going to show off some of the things I got here. These are 2 owner's manuals, or this one here is an owner's manual and installation for a Amar garage door. This is the informative packet that would have gone along with it. Both of these were packaged together, and I just find this kind of cool. There's some interesting pictures inside of this particular packet. You can see here we have our torsion bar system. It's a double car door. I like how they actually showed the hand rope there, how it's actually tied. That's kind of cool. And then it also shows that there is a what the tag on the top header here would have looked like, as well as the information tag on the door, and then the other information tag for that tells you about operating the automatic door opener. I just find that very interesting. Fan is not on. There's also another one here talking about extension springs. Here's another one here that's talking about extension springs for double wide doors, where there would be 2 extension springs instead of a singular one. So that's something you don't see too often, so it's kind of cool. I've actually been wanting to see some literature talking about that. This talks about the track and the lock mechanism. There was one on here that had an exploded parts diagram of the lock, which I have to find. Here's a thing about winding the spring, something that's kind of a pain to do. This is definitely old, because in modern day they wouldn't tell you to wind a spring yourself. If you don't know, winding a spring for a garage door is somewhat dangerous. Here's the exploded diagram of the lock. I just find that is really cool. And here's another one over on this side. It's pretty much just the same mechanism. Kind of cool. I don't typically see too many of the Amar branded doors around here, so it's just kind of cool having an instruction manual for one. This is the other packet that went with this, and this one here pretty much just has information about routinely maintenance and a bit of the things that you should do with your garage door. But I do really like the picture on the front of this. I might actually put this up somewhere in the bedroom, just because I really like the illustration on the front of this. Second one here is kind of interesting, talking about a RP Chippewa humidifier. Now, looking at this, and this is, I think, I see humidistat. I've actually yet to read this so much, but this is a nice old looking owner's manual. I see a humidistat here. I might actually make some more videos of these. Yeah, this is for... That is old. Model 224. So Chippewa Model 224. Looks like that's right there's a pump motor. I can't see what all the numbers are going to exactly. I don't know. Look. It's 30. Oh, it's a solenoid valve that opens and closes. kind of an interesting thing. I think there's some information on the back side of this. And by the way, made in the USA. This thing right here, this owner's manual, it's a very high quality owner's manual. It feels kind of like a book. The whole the paper that it's made out of, or plastic maybe, it's such a satisfying feeling to hold. I will mention it. Just I wish there was more owner's manuals that were like this. I don't think I saw a date. If anyone wants to see any pictures of those, I can put those into a slideshow and upload those to YouTube if anyone has any questions. Here's one for a 400 series, 300 series Briggs & Stratton engine, which you see on a lawnmower pressure washer. These engines are pretty common. Actually, I was reading some of this, and I actually owned a few of these engines in the past. They're not necessarily my favorite, but it's kind of nice to own one of these. Now, the coolest thing right here, out of all of these things I got, was this Troyvo Tuffy owner's manual. Now, this looks like your standard owner's manual for a rototiller, but it actually does talk a bit more than just preventative maintenance and safety things and assembly and stuff, but it also talks a bit more about how to use the rototiller, and it has some pretty good looking pictures of the machine. There's also warranty information and stuff. The engine that this particular machine uses, it's a Tecumseh 3-horse horizontal shaft engine. If I can find a picture of it. There's also one picture in here. There's a good look at that engine, if you can see. That air intake looks really interesting, how it's like the circular pattern. It looks like one of those old Honeywell smoke alarms. And right there's the exhaust, that round metal thing here, and the exhaust would be right there. Also talks a bit more about the adjustment on the handle and stuff. I actually know someone that has a similar tiller, but it has the 8-horse Briggs & Stratton on it. And I think that's a pony model, if I remember right. And I've never seen one of those Tecumseh engines before, at least that particular one. And I like the sticker, how it has the throttle written like that. And it has that sticker on the top saying Troyvo Tuffy. That looks kind of cool. Here's a bit more of a generic version. It doesn't have all the branding on it. It just has its normal Tecumseh tag. This is pretty much like the engines that you see on a lot of the Tecumseh snowblowers. It'd be nice if that fan was not blowing all over me, but it is a bit toasty in here. The interesting thing is it shows you how to actually till, which is kind of cool. Something you don't typically see in owner's manuals anymore, and like how to actually use the product. You have to go like online, but this was probably made at a time in the late 80s, judging by the engine, where internet was not widely available. You can have a good look at this one here. This looks to be an older model Tuffy. That looks like what appears to be a Linamore and not a Tecumseh. Same within this picture here. You can see, judging by that small muffler there, that small cylindrical muffler, that's a Linamore. Right here's the actual Tecumseh that was like depicted earlier. It talks about how you overlap slightly and stuff. Grandparents actually taught me how to till, but it's kind of cool seeing this because it's a bit different. I actually talk about cutting the tines. It better say turn it off. I don't see it in big writing. Yeah. Here's a picture of an elderly man using this rototiller. Look at it. Probably out of the box with no wheels and stuff. No, there's a wheel there. There's a block of wood there. You can see this one here uses that same Tecumseh engine. Most of these just use the same Tecumseh engine. This has a little hole there in the bottom for removing the oil. There's our belt tensioner and stuff, transmission. Here's another look at like the inside of the transmission. Here shows you removing the air filter cover, and you can see it has a paper filter, which is kind of cool. I like that air filter cover though. I would like to actually get one of these. And here it talks a bit more about the belt system. Have a look at that weird muffler there. It's kind of small. I've never seen that muffler before. I would expect it to have a much larger muffler. In this day and age, a lot of these machines use Predator engines. And look at that oddball muffler there. And then it has one of these nice owner's manuals. Something else is comparing this to a lot of the newer service guides, actually including this one here. You can see a lot of changes between different engine manufacturers. Like always, clean engine cooling fins. That's something that typically no one really does before each use, because they're kind of not necessarily the easiest thing to get to. And typically, I've actually don't know why that's in here, because typically you have to be working in a very dusty area in order for that to happen. This is something that would probably be better to check every single time. Same with engine oil. Change every oil every 10 hours. I think that's a bit excessive. Probably about 20 hours or so. Lubrication is something you're going to want to do. And believe it or not, replacing the air filter cartridge after every 50 hours. Wow. I would honestly expect that to be like every 10 hours. This thing must have a pretty good air filter with a wide surface area. Appears like in the pictures, the air filter does seem to be somewhat large. It does talk about that in the manual, as I believe I did show. And over here, there's an index. Talks a bit more about it. It's a Tecumseh 3-horse, single-cylinder, air-cooled horizontal crankshaft. Manual choke, solid-state ignition. So it's pretty much the same engine that Sears used and everything. This was made by Troyvo themselves, not MTD. So this predates a lot of that stuff. I don't know if there is a 1995. So it's actually a bit newer than I thought. I'm surprised those engines were still in production with that style. I would have expected them to be a bit more different. But yeah, there's a bit of that literature that was sent to me by the Aaron Freeze, and thank you very much for watching. And keep the breeze. Thank you very much, and anything else does come in, there will be hopefully some more videos about it in the future. Thank you very much for watching, and keep the breeze.